So if you're anything like us, you've probably sat through your fair share of corporate compliance training, right?
Oh, yeah.
The endless slideshows, the mandatory click-throughs, the quiz you just hope you pass.
Checking the box.
Exactly, that feeling of just checking a box. But what if that checking a box isn't just, well, inefficient, but it's actually creating this kind of silent threat, this unseen liability in, like, every customer and employee interaction?
That's a really interesting way to put it.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into something I think is genuinely transformative.
Yeah.
We're looking at how advanced tech, specifically AI and XR, extended reality, is completely reimagining corporate compliance training.
Right.
We'll be exploring a new platform, the EON Compliance Coach, and really digging into the insights from EON Reality's recent announcements and the materials they've put out.
Yeah, and our mission today really is to go beyond just the surface level. We want to understand how this really radical shift from just passive reading to active simulated experiences, how it's designed not just to mitigate risk, but to ensure something much more critical, verifiable competence.
Verifiable competence, okay.
It's about proving employees don't just know the rules, but they can actually apply them when it counts.
And this deep dive is definitely for you, whether you're, grappling with complex regulations yourself, maybe managing teams, or honestly just curious about where learning and risk management are headed. We're going to dissect why it's so vital for a company to prove its people genuinely get it and can act on it, rather than just having some certificate sitting somewhere.
Yeah, proof of action, not just proof of reading.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. Our source material, it really doesn't pull any punches. It immediately calls out a fundamental flaw in traditional compliance training. We've been doing this way for, well, decades. What makes the old way so broken now?
Well, what's really fascinating is how the source just flat out says this passive approach leaves organizations dangerously exposed. It's not just about being bored.
Right.
The core problem, it seems, is its reliance on static stuff. Presentations, generic videos, those multiple choice quizzes we all know.
Oh, right.
And this method, yeah, it's easy to deploy, but it leads to incredibly low knowledge retention. You see figures like maybe 10% after just a week. It just doesn't build that muscle memory needed for the real world.
10%, wow.
Yeah. So employees might pass a quiz, sure, but can they actually perform correctly when things get tricky? Probably not.
So there's this huge gap between knowing something in theory and actually doing it right. And what are the real world consequences of being dangerously exposed? We're talking more than just a failed test, right? This sounds serious.
Oh, absolutely. The source paints a pretty stark picture of this crisis. In today's regulatory world, which is just getting more complex, right?
Yeah.
A single compliance failure, one that could have been prevented, it can be catastrophic. Millions in fines, serious damage to the brand's reputation,
Right.
and losing customer trust, which is so hard to get back. This is exactly why the EON material talks about that unseen liability in every customer and employee interaction. It's a direct result of employees not truly grasping, or worse, not being able to execute the procedures when they're actually face-to-face with a situation.
Okay, that's a powerful argument for needing something different.
Yeah.
So if the old way isn't just inefficient but actually dangerous, what's the new idea? What's the paradigm shift being proposed here?
Yeah.
How does this EON and Compliance Coach tackle the crisis differently?
So the core idea is this complete transformation, moving from passive information consumption to active hands-on practice in a risk-free virtual environment.
Okay, active practice.
Yeah, think of it like instead of reading a book about driving, you're actually behind the wheel with an instructor, but maybe in a really advanced simulator first.
Right.
So the EON Compliance Coach, it's not just another online course. They call it a fully immersive virtual training ground. So instead of just reading about, say, data privacy policy, employees are actually put into a dynamic scenario where they have to apply that policy. And they see the results of their choices right away, but in the safe, controlled space. It totally re-engineers how you learn this stuff.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. How does that actually work? Like, what are the key features, the tech, the design, that makes this approach so different from, the usual stuff?
Well, it seems to boil down to three critical things working together. The first is realistic role-playing scenarios. Employees aren't just watching, they're actively engaging with these specialized AI coach avatars.
AI avatars, okay.
Yeah, in really realistic, sometimes high-stakes situations. And what's key is the breadth. The source says it's for a whole range of industries, from financial services and healthcare to retail and manufacturing. So it's scalable. Imagine like a bank teller practicing how to handle a tricky customer maybe suspected of fraud, or a nurse navigating a complex patient privacy issue, all in an environment that feels real but has zero actual risk.
So, wait, these AI avatars, they're not just like pre-programmed robots following a script. They actually respond dynamically to what the employee says or does, their
Yes.
tone, their choices.
That seems to be the core of it, and that's where the advanced AI really comes in. It's not just recognizing keywords.
Right.
The system uses, sophisticated NLP and machine learning to grasp the intent and maybe even the sentiment behind what the employee says, and it can adapt the scenario based on how they're doing.
Wow.
It's trying to simulate that unpredictable human element, which leads right into the second key feature, AI-powered real-time feedback.
Okay.
This is crucial. The AI coach gives immediate objective feedback during the simulation. Not after, not later, right then.
In the moment.
Yes. The system's designed to spot knowledge gaps or areas for improvement right when they happen. Imagine you made a small mistake in a simulated chat, and instantly, privately, you get coaching on why that wasn't quite right and how to say it better. Right there.
That's a massive difference from traditional methods. Usually feedback is, delayed?
Mhm.
Or maybe you never get specific feedback at all until something goes wrong for real. That immediacy must speed up learning like crazy.
It has to, right. And it's not about making you dependent. The idea is guided mastery. The AI observes, guides, then steps back a bit so you can integrate the feedback and try again. It's iterative.
Okay.
And this instant objective feedback then feeds into the third feature, which is maybe the most innovative, the Verifiable Competence Score.
Verifiable competence score. Okay, tell me about that.
This moves way beyond simple pass-fail metrics. The platform generates this detailed score based on your actual performance in the simulation, your decisions, how well you followed protocols, and crucially, it provides auditable proof of an employee's proficiency.
Auditable proof.
Yeah, so it's not just, did you pass the test? It's, can you demonstrate you can act correctly under realistic pressure?
So this isn't just about checking the box anymore. It's about proving, yes, I am genuinely competent in a way that's measurable, objective, and can actually be audited. That feels like a huge shift, especially for regulated industries.
It really does.
Now, let's really break down these differences because the source material has this great comparison chart, basically. It really highlights how, revolutionary this platform seems compared to the old ways. Seeing it side by side really clarifies things.
Yeah, that comparison is pretty stark, isn't it? It really shows how disconnected traditional methods are from, effective learning. Let's hit a few key points. First, the learning environment. Traditional is passive. Static presentations, videos, docs.
Right, boring.
While the EON Coach uses immersive, interactive 3D simulations, just the difference in how your brain engages is massive. One is absorbing, the other is actively doing and experiencing.
Makes sense.
Then there's assessment. Traditional relies on those multiple choice quizzes, right? Which mostly test if you remember something, not if you can do something.
Yeah, recall versus application.
Exactly. EON uses performance-based verifiable scoring. That's a much tougher but fairer measure of actual skill under pressure. And feedback, another huge contrast. Traditional is often delayed, vague, sometimes non-existent. EON provides instant, AI-driven contextual feedback during the learning. That's critical for fixing mistakes right away.
Okay, but the stat that just floored me was knowledge retention. The source claims traditional training often results in only about 10% retention after a week. 10%.
Shocking, isn't it?
It's almost unbelievable. Everything's basically gone in 7 days. But the EON Compliance Coach aims for up to 90%.
Yeah.
What's driving that massive jump? Is it just engagement, or is there some cognitive science behind it?
Well, that 90% figure is the real game changer, I think. And yes, it connects directly to how we learn: best experiential learning, active recall. Traditional methods use passive memory, which, as we see, fades fast.
Right.
Immersive simulations, though, create strong context. They force active problem solving. Your brain processes it much deeper. Add the immediate feedback, and you build stronger connections.
Like learning by doing, essentially.
Exactly. It's like reading a survival guide versus actually practicing those skills.
Yeah.
Your brain holds on to the practical, applied knowledge way better, especially when there are consequences, even simulated ones. That 90% figure really challenges how we've thought about compliance training.
It really does. Okay, so moving on to risk mitigation. Traditional is reactive. Hard to prove competence after something bad happens. EON flips that.
Precisely. EON's approach is proactive. It gives you that auditable proof before there's a problem. You can show data. This employee successfully handled the scenario multiple times, not just they finished the module.
That's powerful for liability.
Huge. And finally, scalability. Traditional training can be inconsistent, expensive, limited by who can attend where. EON is designed to be infinitely scalable and consistent. Everyone gets the same high-quality, verifiable training, no matter where they are.
That retention number, though, 10% versus potentially 90%, it's just staggering. That's a massive leap in making sure training actually sticks and works.
Absolutely. And if we peek under the hood a bit, the tech driving this is pretty sophisticated. It's this integration of these persistent AI coach avatars with the immersive XR.
Persistent meaning they remember you.
Yeah, they can track progress over time, adapt. They're described as sophisticated AI companions, not just chatbots. They use advanced AI like natural language understanding to really get what the employee is saying, their tone, hesitation.
Wow.
And machine learning helps them adapt the scenarios and feedback based on patterns. So the AI can tailor the coaching on the fly, identifying subtle issues.
And for companies wanting to customize this, the source mentioned EON's no-code XR tools. No code sounds like a big deal here. Does that mean the compliance experts themselves can build these things?
That seems to be the idea. It means the subject matter experts, the people who actually know the rules inside out, can build or modify training modules directly. They don't need to be programmers.
That must make it way faster to adapt, right? Especially when regulations change constantly.
Exactly. It democratizes the creation process, cuts down time and cost. Imagine a new rule comes out, the legal team could potentially spin up a new interactive training module in days, not months. That's huge agility.
Okay, so bottom line time. What does this all mean for the business? Why invest in this? Beyond just, doing the right thing, what's the compelling ROI here, especially if traditional methods seem cheaper upfront?
That's a key question, isn't it? The argument is that the EON Compliance Coach offers a clear return by directly cutting the massive costs, financial and reputational, of compliance breaches.
Prevention versus cure.
Exactly. By making sure your workforce is verifiably competent, you get tangible benefits. Lower insurance premiums, maybe. Reduce legal costs, definitely. And building a stronger culture of integrity. It's about stopping the problem before it starts, which is always cheaper in the long run.
Right. There's an initial investment, sure, but the potential cost avoidance seems enormous.
That's the business case.
Yeah. So if you're listening and you're in a position to influence training or risk management, the implications here for just sheer efficiency and reducing liability, they seem pretty clear. It's moving beyond ticking boxes to actually safeguarding the organization. And the source says it's available now for enterprise customers, and they even offer a complimentary compliance risk assessment.
Helps companies see where their vulnerabilities might be first.
So we've really explored a profound shift today. From that passive, often forgotten compliance training, the kind that creates those unseen liabilities, to these dynamic AI-powered XR simulations, delivering measurable, verifiable competence.
Yeah, it's a huge leap from just informing people to actively preparing them.
It really is.
And this deep dive, I think it shows how verifiable competence goes beyond just knowing stuff to proving practical, auditable skill. It genuinely seems to de-risk industries by turning their old checkbox exercise into something dynamic, outcome-focused, ensuring people are truly capable and accountable.
It reframes compliance from just a necessary evil into maybe even a strategic tool.
Could be.
Okay, so as we wrap up, here's something to think about. If we can get close to 90% knowledge retention and verifiable competence for something as complex as compliance, what other critical skills could be transformed by this kind of AI-powered XR approach?
Good question.
Think beyond compliance. Sales training, technical skills, emergency procedures. How might this tech reshape what we even mean by knowing something or being competent in our jobs? Moving past just remembering facts to proving genuine mastery and the ability to perform. What fields might be next?